Okay guys, and welcome back to another student questions answered lecture. Now, there is a particularly interesting element in this question. Basically, it revolves around a project tracker, and most of this is fairly static. So what we have is a start date, a status, project name, can be anything, who the owner of the project is, and here is where the interesting part comes. What we want to do from whichever cell we are in is automatically go to the commentary column, which is column E, and if there is no data in there, what we want to do is insert the current date space dash space, and I'll come back to the interesting part in just a second. So that's what we want to do if it's blank. If it isn't blank, what we want to do is keep whatever's already in there, return a new line, and then insert a date with a space and a dash and a space. Now, so far so good. All of those things we've already covered in the course, but here's the interesting thing that we haven't covered in the course. What we want to do is simulate hitting F2. So if I took this first one here, what I could do, drag the formula bar down, hit Alt and Enter, hit Alt and colon, and hit space dash space, and there you go, my cursor is blinking immediately where I want to start typing the text. And that's the interesting part. What we want to do, we already know how to select a cell, but we've not yet looked at simulating the F keys. So by hitting F2, we can automatically just begin typing whatever our commentary should say. So that's what we're going to have a look at in this lecture. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to shrink the formula bar back down because that looks absolutely awful like that. There we go. And I'm just going to tab over so we can just see columns D and E, and let me shrink Excel down. Okay, so here we go. Here we have stamp me, and that is tied to this particular sub here. So we have two flavors. We have to see, is there anything in the commentary section of the cell that we're on the row of the cell that we're on, or is there not? So this is just a dead straightforward logical test. So we're going to say if the range, open brackets, open quotes, E, it is always going to be column E because that's where the commentary lives. But the row number is dynamic, and that is based on whatever cell is currently selected. So we're going to say E and the active cell dot row, and that is going to give us the row of the currently selected cell. So now we're going to get from whichever column we're in to column E. So if range E and the active cell dot row dot value equal nothing, then I'm going to say else, and I'm going to say end if, because I'm going to forget to do it otherwise. Okay, so if it is blank, our requirement is very straightforward. What we want to do is say range E and the active cell row equals, and we want it to say date and quotes space dash space. So far so good. Now if it isn't blank, that is like this one here already has something in it, what we want to do is say almost the same thing. So I'm just going to put that in. What we're going to say is range E and the active cell value dot value equals the same again. So range E active cell dot value equals range E active cell dot value. In fact, I'm going to put the underscore, where am I going to put that? Over here, equals underscore, enter. So range E active cell value equals whatever is currently in there, and VB new line. That's essentially the VB control, the VB command for Alt and Enter, and and the date. So let me just put that on a new line as well. So if it's blank, just insert the date and a space dash space. If it isn't blank, then return what is ever currently in there and a new line and the space dash space. So let's just test that out. So there you go, we can see that that's been added there, and if I'm over here and I hit stamp me, the new date's added in here. Now, so far so good. We've successfully managed to, I'm going to have to go in and delete all that now. Where's it gone? Here we go. So far so good. Now we can select the cell. So what we could say, let's just copy that again. So we want that there, and at the very end we want to be able to select it. Whoops, I know I haven't finished, so dot select. And hit enter. And now if I'm over here and I hit, that's a poor example, what I need to be is in this one. So I can hit stamp me and it will add our date in there, but still we don't have that blinking cursor. We know we can get it by pressing F2 on our keyboard in Excel, but it's what we want it to do is do that automatically in code. So what we're going to do after we've selected here is we're going to use something we haven't seen before, and that is called the application send keys. Now here's a word of warning. If you test this code in the Visual Basic editor when you use application send keys, it will assume the send keys is relating to the Visual Basic editor and not to Excel. So when you test the code in the VBE, it won't work correctly, but when you test the code in Excel, it will. When you've done this, just have a look and you'll see exactly what I mean. So what we have to do with application send keys is we're going to hit quotes, we're going to hit curly brackets, and what we want to simulate is F2. And then we're going to close the curly brackets and we're going to close the quotes. And now look what happens over here. If I'm on this cell, let me move over. If I'm on this cell and I hit stamp me, a new date is automatically added and our cursor is immediately there, allowing us to carry on typing. But if I'm, let's use the same cell again because now we have something in there. Now if we clicked it, it immediately goes, adds a new line, and again puts our cursor at the insertion point, and on and on. So, and literally, let me, this code works now. I'll rem that, whoops, I'll rem that before you download it. Let me just drag this out and come up to the top. So I can be here, say for argument's sake, I'm here in cell A5, hit the button, and automatically a new line has been added to the bottom of this, and I can happily type my commentary in, and I could be here and hit it, and automatically I can just start typing my commentary in, and that's how you do it. So application send keys, that's the way to simulate the keyboard shortcuts, the F keys, and a bunch of others using your code in VBA. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, and as always, any questions, just let me know and I'll be happy to help. Have a great day.